Thank you for picking up the Sticks. This is episode 83, Sticks Gaming Podcast. I am Mike Carnett. To my right, Mike Steak Carnia.
What's going on?
To my left, Art, Mr. Monday Night Rosian. When are we going to get really drunk again and watch wrestling? There's been really...
Let's go.
No, just that new format we've been teasing is not video games at all.
just
We
us
are just going to get drunk
and
and watch video games off to the side so we don't get copyright struck on this thing. So
We'll tell people what we're
Just
watching
wrestling
on
now.
WWE Network, and they can start at the same time
Yeah.
and watch along.
All right, 94 Royal Rumble.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Well, again, thank you for picking up the Sticks. So we're starting a new format today. So we got a really good show. We got a bunch of stuff. We're going to break some stuff out. We got all kinds of new and exciting things we're going to try. Not news, though, because there is no news. Because really nothing happened since last time at the E3 wrap-up. So
That's usually how it is for the next week.
Right,
Show
but
or two after.
exactly. But it's been a month since we shared what you're playing. So I
Yeah.
think we got plenty to talk about there. So Steak,
Speak for yourself.
Steak, what you're playing.
Okay, so first off, a couple of older games. My Final Fantasy VII playthrough again, still going strong. About 14 and a half hours in. I am approaching the pivotal scene. I know it's coming. I finished Fist of the North Star. It took me about 28 hours total, and it was fantastic. The final chapter was batshit crazy, what I fully expected of something like that, and stuff I didn't see coming. And it was like, wow, that was like, I couldn't believe it for like the final chapter too. I was like, because the whole time I'm just like, okay, I kind of know where this is going, and then it's like, okay, it's getting kind of crazy, and then the final chapter is nuts. So that was really awesome. So I highly recommend anyone gets a chance, check that out. So then when I finished, I got Yakuza Kiwami 2 just sitting there that I haven't played yet. So pop that in, about 9 hours into that now, in chapter 5, I believe. So making progress.
5 of,
I think, what did I see? I think it was 17 chapters, I think,
Okay.
or so. Yeah.
good chunk out of the way.
Yeah, oh yeah, but I flew, I was not doing a whole bunch of the side stuff. So
Yeah.
I flew from chapter, because when I first started up, I was at the beginning of chapter 2. I flew through 2, 3, and 4 like pretty quickly actually, and then I started doing some of the side stuff in 5.
Gotcha.
So it slowed me down a little bit. But now that is on the back burner due to Judgment that came out today.
Very Yakuza-y of you here.
I know, right? Exactly. I love this studio so much. But so far so good. I just started today, so I'm not really ready to talk in depth with it. But it's cool because like right away at the beginning, it's like, yes, this is the city you all know and love. But here's how it's like. Here's like how this game's gonna be completely different from the Yakuza games. It's part of the series, but it's not Yakuza. So, which is really cool.
Because it's like investigation.
Yes.
So have you gotten a chance to do one of those yet?
Right away.
So what does that look
pretty
like?
much. Yeah. So it's basically. So basically, you go into first-person mode, and
Okay.
then so you can't move, but then you have like this like magnifying glass cursor that you can move around, and there's things you can focus on, and then you can examine after you focus on it.
It's Phoenix Wright.
I was going to say.
Yes, it's exactly what it is.
Is it 3D
Yes.
or is it like a flat plane?
No, it's 3D. Yeah, you're
so it's
in
like
a 3D
Batman.
world.
It's like the prequel game, Arkham Origins.
Yes.
Okay.
So, which is pretty cool. It's pretty neat. And then so what I have discovered though too, I believe there's things you have to do
Okay.
in order to progress, but then there's other things you can examine as like bonus stuff. Because like the one thing I did, there was like a cat that wouldn't shut up, so I looked on it, I focused
tell me
on
about
it. Yeah. And then I examined it, and it was like, oh, stray cat. So I got an extra little bonus like experience points.
Oh,
for
cool.
That. So I have a feeling that throughout the game.
So it rewards you to really like go into nooks and crannies and everything.
really investigating these sites and stuff like that.
Nice.
So yeah, so it's gonna be. I mean, it's gonna be pretty neat. The game, the fighting mechanics is similar, but also different. It's a lot more movement involved now. So they're being kind of stiffer. There's 2 different fighting styles, but now you can also run up walls and like jump kick off of them and stuff.
All right.
And do more crazy stuff. So which is gonna be pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to really diving into that. Taking a quick little trip down, Stakes VR corner. So I picked up Shadow Point for the Oculus Quest.
Shadow Point.
So this is it's basically like a puzzle type game, kind of like Myst. Think Myst.
Okay. You're speaking to me.
Yeah, Patrick Stewart is the narrator.
Go on.
So basically, you find different objects, and to solve the puzzles and stuff, like you have to like hold objects in a certain way with a light. You'll see like a pattern like on the wall, and you have to hold it up in a certain way, and like distance wise and stuff, and in a certain like way to match that shape. To keep progressing. And
That's pretty cool.
So that's hence shadow point. You're matching the shadows and stuff like that. So pretty cool so far. I only played the first area, and it was really neat.
We needed something to replace the toys.
There we go.
Don't move.
Yeah, stay there the whole time. So then I picked up a game that came out on the Switch. I believe it came out on PS4 last year, but it came out on the Switch earlier this month called Time Spinner. It's a Metroidvania game. Awesome. Very cool. It's 16-bit basically, and it's awesome. I highly recommend it. It was like $20, I think. It was super cheap. And speaking of which, I got the Bloodstained Ritual of the Night In for the Nintendo Switch.
I was gonna say, which one did you get? I didn't know which one you
I ended
got.
up getting the Switch version, which is just not a good choice. This version looks bad. There's plenty of games out there that don't look bad, like on the Switch. This looks
Especially that
bad.
kind of game.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and that's the thing, because graphical heavy games look way better on
right.
Mortal Kombat 11. I mean, I understand they got big teams and stuff like that, but he just wants to be part of it.
You're in my bubble.
He just wants to be loved.
Have you seen my face?
Yeah, it was right here. I saw it.
So Switch version's pretty rough, but the gameplay itself, like the actual game itself, it's Castlevania.
So is gameplay so smooth? Is just like graphically just not great,
No,
or is it just
there's-
like nothing works?
There's
on
frame
it?
rate issues
Okay.
and stuff too. There's a lot of issues with this, and
All right.
now they did send out a Kickstarter update, like, hey, we're acknowledging the Switch version. It's not up to your standards. We just pulled everyone on our team to start focusing on this, and we're going to start releasing.
Go to this Kickstarter page to get to the next tier to get a working version of
The
the
patch
Switch.
is next year.
Yeah. So I guess they're gonna be what they're gonna be doing is they're gonna be releasing shorter, like smaller patches to keep. So every time they fix something, send it out instead of doing one
Okay.
giant patch to kind of keep it going, like constant updates. So I guess they pulled all hands on deck to fix the Switch version. But the game itself it's Castlevania. I mean, it's the old school Castlevanias. It's really well done. I mean, besides the fact of these issues on the Switch version, this is what we wanted. This is exactly what people wanted
Good.
out of this. So a Kickstarter that's actually technically successful. I mean, it's
delivered
not
a-
Mighty Number 9.
You're right. It delivered a product that you were expecting,
Yeah, exactly.
which is good.
And then once they fix the Switch version, we'll be all good. Another game that came out recently I jumped into, River Bond.
Oh yeah.
So this is the asymmetric, like 3D dot heroes type puzzle, not puzzle, just hack and slash game. It's on Game Pass, so if you have Xbox Game Pass, it's available there. It's a ton of fun. It's awesome. Like, I'm constantly unlocking skins.
I say, is that the one that in the
Like
trailer they had like all the
Bastion,
different
Guacamelee,
characters? Yeah, okay.
Yep, I've unlocked both of those. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff, and it's really well done. It's really cool. Like the different weapons you get are hilarious. One of them's a giant hand. You're just smacking the enemies around. No, it's got 8 levels, and each level. So I've completed the first 3. The first one took me like 35 minutes, and then the other 2 took me about 25 minutes each.
Okay.
So I mean, there's a lot of content there. So yeah, pretty cool.
Nice.
I recommend checking it out. And finally, I picked up Crash Team Racing.
Oh,
God, this game is so hard.
that's
It
been
is
the
so
overall
hard.
like tone of
Yes.
people talking about that game. It's like, oh, this is much either. Is it harder than we remember,
Yeah,
or
I
is
think
it?
so. I think it is because like so.
Are we all older and bad at worse at games
It
now,
could
or?
be. That's always my theory too. But the so the power slide mechanic, you know, there's a slight learning curve with that because we haven't done that in a while. So you do have to learn. It's not as simple as Mario Kart in terms of drifting and then going rocking back and forth to get the boost. It's way more involved in that than that. You actually have to pay attention to your meter and stuff. But once you get that down and you're like, okay, all right, cool, I got this down. I feel a lot better. You know, you're winning some races. You're doing pretty good. And then all of a sudden, you know, you play these in the adventure mode. You go against these bosses. If you thought rubber banding was bad in like any of the Mario Karts, this is insane. Like this is insane. Like out of nowhere, like you could be ahead of them, and then out of nowhere, here they come just if you didn't do like a power slide in that last turn, they just go flying past you again, and like they are frustrating. I think to the point to where not like in a good way, like not in a way where it's like, oh my god, I can't believe I messed that up. That's my fault. It's to the point where it's like, okay, this is really annoying. Like this is super frustrating because they're cheating basically is how it feels like. And also too though, even like when you're doing regular races, like when you get hit by a missile, you're dead in your tracks. And like anytime you get hit by an item or anything, you're dead in your tracks. You could easily go from second to eighth in a matter of like getting hit with like one or two items in a row. And a lot of times, and most of the times, if you get hit by it with one item, guess what? Another one's not that far behind, which is super frustrating.
Yeah, it's not fun.
But then again, but you shoot something at the enemy in front of you, and they flop with you, and then they're still ahead of you when they recover. It's super annoying. Like it's like there's something wrong with the mechanics there. Like they need to work on that. Like it's just, and I'm playing on medium, so I'm not even playing on hard.
Yeah.
Like I mean, you know, I'm sure easy is like not, that doesn't exist at all. But like, so playing on medium, it's like okay, like yeah, you do the power slides because you got to get some speed, get in front of everybody and stuff. But I still feel like it's not. It's something's wrong. The rubber banding is just not good. But the game looks fantastic. The courses look amazing, and everything else they've done a fantastic job with this game. So hopefully, who knows? Maybe in a patch or something, because it seems like a lot of people are complaining about this. Like they might just say, "Too bad, get better,"
Right.
or they might actually do something about it. So we'll see what happens.
All right. That's it.
Yeah.
Art, what you playing?
Okay, so some older games I'm playing that actually want to get your guys' thoughts on some things.
Okay.
So, no surprise, more Rainbow Six. So they've had some issues recently with people finding glitches with some of the operators in the game.
Okay.
So they've started just like straight up taking those operators out of the game until they can fix it. Now my issue with that is some people like paid money to buy credits to unlock those operators.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad they're addressing the issues rather than just letting all hell break loose, but I'm torn on it because people paid money for that.
Yeah, but also, you know, I also paid money to play a game where I'm not getting cheated when I'm playing it. So, like, if they can remove that from it, I mean, you're going to get them back eventually, I assume.
Yeah, I think that's the plan, is to figure out what's wrong and add them back in. But just, it's one of those things like we're pulling them out, they'll be added back when we fix the thing, and there's no talk of, like, oh, we're going to, you know, boost your XP or something for a weekend or something.
Yeah.
Maybe in the end when they put them back, they will do that, but...
Well, I'm sure that if they're working on a solution, you want to have, like, the, you know, get right moment along with the same time, too. Because you don't want to be like, we're going to give you double XP for a weekend, and then there's, like, 2 months later, and they're still not back in. You know what I mean?
Right.
So maybe, like, the I don't want to say the reward, but the apology will match how long it's been out for once they actually get it back in there.
Right. I mean, personally, for me, ultimately, it doesn't matter because I don't use either of those operators.
Right.
But just the overall idea of someone paid money for those.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, there's like 92 other ones to play with, right? Isn't that like?
I think they're at 44 total.
Damn.
So
That's
they're down to 42.
Crazy. That's nuts.
Yeah, that's insane.
Another older game I've been playing, which I stopped playing. So I think I mentioned a few months ago I was playing that Out of the Park Baseball.
Oh yeah,
the baseball management simulator, and they have the perfect team mode, which is basically microtransaction central. If you want it to be. If not, you can play and earn points and buy cards and packs and everything. So I bought this year's version, played it for a few months. But the whole reason I bought this year's version was they said for the perfect team, we're going to release a mobile app to do it.
Okay.
Which I'm like, great, for the crackhead in me, that'll be perfect. I'm the train riding, so they're tinker on my team.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like, the game came out in March, so 3 months post-launch, still no mobile app.
Really?
And it's still, and I tweeted, I'm like, hey, what's going on with this mobile app? It's the whole reason I bought this year's game. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, you know, we're working on it. And I'm like, I'm sure you guys are, but I'm done.
Yeah.
So I uninstalled the game from my computers, and I'm done.
Yeah.
But yeah, just one of those things where, you know, promises were made and not delivered on, and I'm like, well, you know, I got better things to do with my time anyways. So.
Yeah, right.
Plus, I'm not in school anymore, so I'm not doing homework and managing a baseball team at the same time. Take that back. I'm not managing a baseball team when I should be doing homework.
That sounds about right.
But yeah, outside of that, new games. I bought my friend Pedro, which is, it's kind of like a side-scrolling Hotline Miami, but there's a whole lot more going on than Hotline Miami. And I haven't played enough yet that I'm not sure if I like it or dislike it, that there's more stuff in there. So it's like the basic mechanics are you use the right thumbstick to move your reticle around and shoot in front of you or behind you.
Yeah.
There's another stick. One of the shoulder buttons will lock on to one enemy, so you can shoot in 2 directions at a time, multiple enemies. There's a dodge button, so your guy will like spin around and dodge bullets as you're doing things. If you click on the right analog stick, it goes into focus mode, which basically slows everything down. And all the cool, crazy shit you've seen in all the preview videos of that's basically what they were doing. So yeah, I mean, it's like a side-scrolling Hotline Miami, but not quite. There's more going on there, and I haven't figured out if it's too much going on or what. I mean, the game's not grabbing me. It doesn't have that addictiveness like Hotline Miami had for me, where it's like. But also, I'm still in the first world or whatever. Mm-hmm. I haven't died yet, so I don't know if it has that quick, like, you die, you're back in, you die, you're back in, you die, you're back in, you die, you're back in. So I don't know if it has that part to it, but I don't know what's going on in the story. You got Talking Banana. Guy wakes up somewhere and you start shooting people.
Don't you need to know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to play it some more because I paid for it.
Yeah, right.
I'm jury's out on that one.
Have you seen that new? It's called Police Stories, I think it is. It looks exactly like Hotline Miami, but you can work in tandem, so you can have two. You play as policeman, and you're going into different situations. And sometimes you gotta start firing. Sometimes you actually subdue them as well. And you gotta make those choices as you go. And I think it's co-op too. So keep an eye. I think it's called Police Stories. I know it's gonna come out on Switch for sure. I think it was on the Kind of Funny Game Showcase on E3 as well.
I'm surprised that that's gotten as good reviews as it has, because a lot of people were complaining about it not that long ago, in a preview, like recent preview too.
Even like some of the reviews I'm seeing, it's like they're kind of spread in the like 6 to 8.5 range.
Yeah. I'm saying for your fantasy, it's like 83.
Yeah.
So you got like the bonus points, but then Judgment took them away. So.
Yeah, we got to talk about that.
Wait, what?
Not Judgment, but like your games that aren't being released.
Yeah.
It's just zeroing everything out.
Excellent.
Yeah, since game will not release, you got 0 points for those.
Considering one of my counter picks was based on the fact that a game wouldn't release. I thought if a game didn't release, you lost like as many points as possible. Like you were penalized if a game didn't release.
No, because you got no games. You get no points removed from your score because I got 0 points. For every point I get for mine, if you pick that, you get that amount of points removed. So they basically, like, you by putting that means that gives you a safe that there is 0 points taken away from you. Then that's like the best. That's the best case situation.
I mean, obviously the best is if it's like a low score game, then you gain those extra points back.
Right.
I'm pretty sure I asked about this when we did the draft. There was like a penalty if your game didn't come out during the year and it was less than 0 points. Whatever.
Y'all had access to the FAQs.
What?
Y'all had access to the FAQs before we drafted.
Yeah, you were my FAQ.
All I know is both of my games right now
are gonna suck.
I've got 13 points, so
that's all I got.
That's all you got? All right. I got a few oldies. So, not a game, but I watched that Racing Kratos documentary. Very interesting. It's about an hour and a half, hour 45 minutes. It's completely free on YouTube. It's on the Sony channel. Gives you a pretty. I mean, I don't know how that stuff actually looks, but it feels authentic, in terms of like the inner workings of AAA game development. That was really neat. Everything that's all there is to say about it. I would check it out. I mean, it made me want to go play God of War more than anything else, and not be in the game industry ever. Yeah. So I guess I'm right where I'm supposed to be. I played all the way through Rise of the Tomb Raider. Oh,
nice.
Man, that game is great.
Yeah.
Like, no qualms, no caveats. That game is just flat out great. I love the way that the skill tree works. I love I kept, they had those like really wide open areas that you would that you can go back into and find a ton of stuff to do.
Yeah.
And like not just like they had side missions, and those side missions would get you like actual tools that you would need to get collectibles later on, or things the side quest really it behooved you to actually go and do them because there was so much there to do on top of just the 5 bajillion collectibles and things to do or whatever. My only beef with the game is I was getting pretty far through. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to 100% this game. I got a bunch of stuff. I'm finding those maps. I'm getting everything. But if you miss one of the relics in the very first section of the game, you can't go back.
So I'm like, Yeah.
Well, that's the end of that.
Yeah.
I guess I'll just get to the end of the game
Yeah.
then. But yeah, I mean, I love the actual like tomb raiding of the game. You know, I mean, there's a lot of like every
the tombs were amazing.
Yeah, every Tomb Raider game is Lara saves the universe, which is whatever. But like my favorite parts are the smaller stuff when you're finding the tombs and actually doing things like that, and the puzzle mechanics on that.
Some of those are just so clever.
Yeah,
They look so pretty.
Yeah, and those are like one-off things in the game. Like you don't see those mechanics again, you don't see those animations again, like things like that. So I mean, they definitely put a lot of time into it, which you would hope in a Tomb Raider game that the raiding of tombs is a fun thing to do. But they definitely nailed it. Love the bow and arrow.
Oh yeah.
Love the bow and arrow.
I usually can't stand. Yeah, like I said,
I was saying,
Horizon
wait, you're the
wasn't for
guy.
me.
I was saying, you're the guy who didn't like Horizon because of the bow and arrow. What are you saying? Oh,
But
yeah,
the way it works, and something about that game though, the way it works.
Probably the explosive arrows that are
those
just
are the
like
best.
it's horseshoes, hand grenades, and grenade arrows. Like you
Yeah.
gotta just get close.
Yeah.
Well, I had a brief beef with the game as well. When you get to near the end of the game, you get to these enemies that aren't supposed to be able to be killed, and I'm killing them. I'm like, what the what's going? Like, this is like the whole point of these bad guys, and like some of the lore and like the MacGuffin of the game is you're trying to find this thing that for immortality, right? And these soldiers are supposed to be immortal, and I'm turning them into dust.
Yeah.
And then I found like a scroll. Then I found
sounds like Uncharted 2.
then I found a scroll that like explained it. Like
Oh.
you kill them, they turn to dust, but then they like start to regenerate after a time. So like you can burn them, you can kill them, you can burn them, you can do
Right.
whatever you want, but ultimately they're gonna come back together and whatever. So like,
Gotcha.
all right, cool.
Turn to dust and then put that dust someplace it can't get out.
So completely off the beaten path. I've been scrolling through just like Game Pass and my backlog, and just like I'm kind of having that moment like I don't know what I want to play because I wanted to get into something for our next show, so I kind of want to hold off on doing what I really want to do. I played all the way through PT for the first time. It's been sitting on my PlayStation since it came out.
You're one of
Nice.
the few who has access.
I've transferred it from PlayStation to a PlayStation
Nice.
Pro.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, one day I'm gonna do something stupid, or like I'm just not gonna have access to it anymore. So let me actually play through it. And man, what a bummer that is, because that game is so great.
It is. Fantastic.
And I thought they cut the Norman Reedus Silent Hills trailer off of it. Nope, it's still
No.
there.
Yep.
But man, I mean, it's 4 years old at this point. I think, so I'm not gonna go too
It
far
might even
into
be
it.
longer than that.
But it's one of those things. If you have access to it, like that's one of those things where if you watch it on YouTube, it will not do it justice for just how like man, I really don't want to look around that corner. Like wait, there's only one corner, and then it keeps going over and over and
Yeah.
over again.
Oh, it's so good.
It's so excellent, and I did it all by myself except for the very ending of the game, like how you actually
Yeah.
get to the final
Yeah.
trailer, because it's
Yeah.
like I'm not. I don't know if I want to spoil or not. It's like a 5-year-old thing.
It's been out forever.
Okay.
It's fine.
So the way you actually get to because you can get basically almost all the way to the actual true ending. You had to find pieces of a picture. Once you find all the pieces of a picture, you can actually access the ability to get to the true ending of the game.
Right.
And the way you do it is like in that little hallway, that classic hallway. There's a digital clock on there that always reads like 1 minute before midnight. When you finally get everything done, midnight finally strikes, and then you can do a list of operations. So you got to get a baby crying in your ear 3 times before a phone would ring to say you've been chosen, and then you go out the door for the last time, and Silent Hills trailer starts. The way to make the baby cry the first time is you got to walk 10 steps in any direction. I could maybe do that on accident.
Yeah, right.
Number 2 is when it strikes midnight, the haunting happens for the ghost in that hallway. And the ghost can be in one of 3 different places, and based on the way it's sounding, like if it's like a metallic sound, they're by the radio. If it's like a weird cringly sound, they're probably by the mirror and stuff like that. But if you go and actually look at the ghost, they'll rush at you. The sequence breaks, and you gotta do it again. So you gotta kind of get close to the ghost, and then you gotta have a microphone on, and you gotta talk to it. So you gotta say hello, Lisa. Like you gotta actually talk to it.
Yeah.
And the baby will cry for the second time, and then all of a sudden your controller starts vibrating. And if you move while the controller starts vibrating, breaks the cycle. You gotta start all over again. But if you don't move, baby cries for the third time. You get the actual big old the big reveal. You get the
Nice.
call and get the big reveal ending. So. Yeah, finished it. I actually got to put PT in my finish folder, which
Nice.
was I felt again. I was like I just felt I needed to do it before it's gone forever.
What Silent Hills could have been.
And that's like it was just like
That was just the teaser for it. Jesus Christ.
And they always said, and even Kojima said at some point, that PT would not have actually been anything like the game at all, which is fine.
Sure, yeah.
But like just like the
Just the
feel
hype
of it, and
yeah.
just like how disturbing like the voices were, and like the radio call was, and just the stuff in the environment that you had to interact with to get moving, and like it was just like if that's like the tone you're going for, that would have been a thing.
Yep.
Yeah, man, I can never remember watching the trailer for the first time. It was like, it's like Hideo Kojima,
Yeah.
Guillermo del Toro,
Yeah,
and then he started walking away, and he's panning around as Norman Reedus. So like, ah! Silent Hills. Ah! What is this? Oh well, we will never know.
No yelling.
I will yell. It's my podcast, and I'll yell if I want to.
You're gonna get that kid.
No, I will. I'm sorry. Speaking of rolling around and playing random games, I played Void Bastards.
Oh, I downloaded
How was
it.
that?
I haven't had a chance yet.
So it's a new game that went right to Game Pass right away. It is a procedurally generated roguelike light. I don't know how that works. One of those two. So the story is actually super interesting. It's told like in a 1970s, 60s comic book style, and it has that like kind of overlay too. It's like the cel shaded look throughout the whole game. The whole idea is you are in a prisoner transport unit that gets lost in the void, which is like a piece of space where there's just destroyed ships all over the place. And the AI wakes up, which is going to be a theme of the games I've been playing. The AI wakes up, and the AI wants to get the heck out of there. So what they do, they start rehydrating the prisoners. Now, the way they transport these prisoners is they dehydrate them and basically put them like in a bag of chips. And so it's like dust. So like, and I said it's a roguelike. So like when you die, you go back to the ship, they open a new bag, pour it in the rehydrator, and you have a new guy. So, and each guy has their own traits and skills and whatever. Like the very first guy I got, he can do the accessing the terminals faster than usual, but he also had a smoker's cough. So if you were in the area, you would just randomly cough, and it alert people to your area, stuff like that.
Put a bullet in that guy's head right away.
Actually, I had him for a while, but then I had another guy who was like, every time I got hit, I would get merit, which is like the money in the game. So every time I would take damage, I would get money, but I was a short person, so I was like odd job rolling around in there. So like I couldn't like jump over things and whatever. So it was like it's stuff like that.
Interesting.
And like
Watch out for Jaws.
and everything, and it's all done in a grid. Like so you're trying to get from you're moving through this grid, trying to get different pieces of the ship back together to get the ship back in order. But the first mission is you're trying to get an ID card, and you need to get like a dot matrix printer, a blank ID card. So you print over the blank ID card. You go to the computer to access the terminal, and they charge you with forgery. Like the AI does, and like, well, we appreciate your help getting this ship up and running, but we're gonna charge you for forgery now. So it's like it's very funny. Like we've taken 16 days off of your sentence. However, we've added 20 for forgery. So and it's one of those things. However, roguelikes just are not for me. I'm already done with the game because it's like I've gotten to the point where I'm just like doing the same thing over and over again.
That's a shame because the art style seems so cool.
Art style is cool. The way they put the ships together is cool. It's. I thought this one might be one that sticks with me because I am actually saving a lot of stuff because like once you have two different things that you get. You have materials, which is things that go away, like bullets and things like that go away every time you die, and you have other things that you're building on the ship that stay on the ship. That'll help you progress further and further and further with your new people. But there's just like it's almost like too random.
Okay.
Like every single time I get close to where I need to go to, the pirates get me, and then if the pirates attach themselves to your ship, you're screwed.
Okay.
So I'm like I'm not gonna get to like the spot again just if the pirates get me, and just like so I can start all over again and go back to the 12 ships away that I need to be.
Yeah.
I'm just I wanted to like the game, I just didn't. All right.
Fair enough.
Last but not least. So we are trying a new review-ish format. So I'm going to try to do our first review format with a game called Observation. So 2910. So Observation. So critical points on Observation. It is developed by No Code, same guys who did Stories Untold. I've had you play that game, like the anthology, text adventure type of a game.
Yep, that was neat.
It was published by Devolver Digital. It's available on PS4 and PC only for right now. MSRP is $24.99. It takes about 5.5 hours to beat, and I did play all the way to completion. In a nutshell, in Observation, you play as the AI of a marooned international space station, attempting to figure out what happened to the vessel and its crew. Unique but slow gameplay wrapped up in a story that leaves more questions than answers results in an experience that left me feeling unsatisfied with the promising premise of Observation. So those are the critical points of observation. So what do I mean by that? So you're an AI. You play as Sam the AI, the satellite augmented, whatever the hell that means. So you play as an AI, and you awaken in this area, and you have one person that's still alive from this International Space Station. Her name is Emma, and you're trying to get A, find out what happened, B, keep her safe, and C, just like try to get back home.
Okay.
The way you play as an AI in this game is very interesting. Like you go like into different. It's almost like sectioned off by different operations that the AI can do. Like I can look into cameras. When I'm looking at cameras, and if I see something I can interact with, you're basically like doing like a Bluetooth sync with that thing. You type in a code, I can now sync with that. Where I could be opening doors, accessing a laptop, so I can get audio logs. Accessing oxygen, airlocks, all kinds of stuff. So there's a lot that goes there, but the camera moves so slow. Like, come on, AI guy, let's get to where we need to go. So that was just like, oh, come on. And then, cool, Savior. I have a little drone that I have now inhabit and 360 flying around and access all kinds of stuff. Really cool. So that was all cool. Even like you would come across, like say you go into an area and cameras don't work. There's a button, I think it was R2, where you put an overlay over the screen, and I can have it move a mouse around, and then I can alert the crew to whatever it is. I mean, like, cameras in section 2 are offline, and then now the job is to get the cameras up and running and see if I can find anybody. I was on board for the first 2 hours of this game because they have a big reveal, like where you're at, because again, the crew, what happened to them?
Yeah.
AI goes dark, Emma blacks out, and you wake up in a completely different area than you're supposed to be. And like that was just like, whoa, this is kind of cool. Like, how is that even possible? And then something else again, and then another space station in distance shows up. Like, how is that even possible? When they get to the actual like part of the game that kind of starts explaining the story, once you get through all the minutia of finding, scanning, connecting, unlocking, finding, scanning, unlocking, and just like over and over and over again, it was just like the story didn't connect with me at all. Emma as a character was fine. I thought her like, she's in space by herself, far away. So, and I'm her only hope to get home. So that was my initial motivation. But as time goes on, it's just like I just keep seeing the same thing over and over again. I keep doing the same kind of things over and over again. Even when they are introducing some other characters along the way, I'm like, And then they have like the hints of what the story really means. Like that didn't motivate me either. Okay. Like at that point, I was getting to like the 4 hour marks. Like I know I only got like an hour and a half left. I might as well finish it, type of a deal. So overall, I thought it was a fine game. But I'm also finding that just like we talked about Japanese action RPGs. Roguelikes and lights. I think space just isn't for me. Like I normal space stuff it doesn't do much for me. Sure. And like any kind of like science fiction and mythology based in space just doesn't do anything for me because it forces them to have like 1 or 2 characters at most. And if those characters aren't knocking it out of the park, I really don't care. This game, I was really hoping that as an AI, I would have more things I can do. I'm an advanced AI on an international space station that has traveled really far away. I figured I can do more things, and I can totally mess up if I want to. They'll be like, "Hey, where's our engineer?" Because they have like a crew tracker. I can say anybody I want to. They're like, "No, the engineer. No, the engineer. No, where's the engineer?" So, and I thought that maybe that would be kind of like the meta game of it, where I'm actually like a more sentient than just like a normal AI. Like I'm kind of going against what my masters are telling me to do. Yeah. No, I'm just stupid. Because at the end of the story, like there's only one ending to it.
You're just a poorly coded AI.
Yeah, exactly. But I can run a whole space station though. So, but I can't. But I'm dumb enough to not know my 6 people crew name. You know what I mean? So like that's one of those things. It didn't quite jive with I think what they were going for. Sure. I'd rather have that been part of the storytelling of like what the AI ultimately is or became. It just don't go that way. So I'm just an idiot AI looking like, where the hell is this switch around? I don't know where the switch is of the station that I'm attached to. You know what I mean? So it just kind of it just kind of missed a mark for me. So. Some observation I think is for people. If you're looking for like, kind of a slow, kind of like heady game, that might be for you. But overall, I'd pass on it.
Cool.
All right, Steak. What's coming out next couple weeks?
All right, so I went backwards a little bit since we had E3, just to remind people of stuff that came out before. So June 13th, Cadence of Hyrule came out for the Nintendo Switch. June 18th, Bloodstained Ritual of the Night came out for PS4, PC, and Xbox One. On June 20th, My Friend Pedro came out for PC and Switch. On June 21st, Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled came out for Switch, PS4, and Xbox One. June 25th was the Bloodstained for Switch. Also on June 25th, Judgment for PS4. On June 28th, Super Mario Maker 2 is coming out for the Nintendo Switch. And on July 2nd, Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers for the PC and PS4.
Nice. Do we have any new announcements in terms of like free games yet?
Not yet. So
yeah, next one.
the June ones are about to expire, so I figured there was no reason to really comment on those.
I remember last time we talked about them.
So yeah, we didn't talk about them at all because of the way it still lined up last time. So Xbox, earlier, it was like NHL 19, and that was really it for the month.
Yeah.
That was noteworthy. And then for PlayStation, the Borderlands Handsome Collection, and I can't remember what the other game was. Sonic Mania.
Oh yeah, Sonic Mania.
Which that's pretty great because I haven't had a chance to play it or buy it yet, so I was super excited for that.
Yeah, for sure.
One of these days I'll pop that on.
It's like perfect timing for that like new DLC for Borderlands 2 and the 4K pack is all
exactly.
free.
I think that was like on purpose.
Right, for sure. Extra, there is no news. So
this really is going to be a short episode.
Yeah, it's fine. All depends on how much you guys talk about this next thing. So usually we do topic and things like that. I guess we're still kind of doing that, but both of you guys played Blood and Truth. PSVR exclusive?
Yes.
Right? Okay. So I'm going to hand it off to you gentlemen to give our new format review for Blood and Truth.
All right. Do you want to do the critical points or you want me to...
Do you have it written down?
Yeah.
Go for it.
All right. So Blood and Truth, the developer was Sony London Studios. Same people who've done The Heist and The Getaway and all that kind of stuff. Publisher, Sony. It's $39.99. It's a PlayStation VR exclusive. I played it for about 5 hours.
Same.
And that's how long it took me to beat it.
Yep.
And my one sentence review before we get into a depth is you are the action movie star.
Yeah.
So you are the action movie star. So is it? I mean, what's like the first 5 minutes look like? I mean, is it like guns in hands constantly?
Insanity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the first 5 minutes starts off. You're the character you are, but you find further in the game he's ex-military. You start off in a military mission. You're in the military. You're in the desert, and you're going through, and it's the tutorial of how to. Here's how you holster a weapon, grab a weapon, reload,
grab ammo, reload, all that good stuff. Yep.
Here's how you move from point to point. But you're going and you're rescuing a, fellow soldier or friend, whoever the guy is, and I think there's a car chase shooting part in there, and then you it ends with you jumping in a helicopter and flying away.
Mm-hmm.
That is a hell of a tutorial.
Yeah.
And then it takes you from there. It takes you right into like the present time story where you spend the rest of the game.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So that was it. Was actually a really good tutorial part and just kind of an introduction to Ryan as the character, just to kind of be like, okay, so this is where this guy comes from. Great. I understand. All right, cool. Yeah, grab the ammo off my chest, stick it in my gun, and I'm reloaded and ready to go.
So you have both of the move controllers, right?
Yes.
So is it just kind of like?
It's literally my gun's in my right hand.
Yeah.
Grab your chest, hold down the trigger to grab a clip, put it to the gun, let go, it goes in.
Very cool.
Yep, and it's cool too because every gun's different too.
Oh, so you actually got to see it, kind of.
Yeah, so you do see. So you see, so at one point I got a shotgun. So it held 2 shells. So when you pop it in, when you took it off, I was holding 2 shotgun shells. So I put them in, and then I had to flick my wrist to close it to set it and everything.
I just got goosebumps.
Yeah.
You can flick your wrist. You could also just go back to shooting. And
did you? Naturally, I'm like, do I have to do this? I'm like, yes, I do.
I would have done the same thing.
I didn't think of that naturally. And towards the end of the game, a tutorial message came on a loading screen. If you're, for the shotgun, you can flick up to reload faster. I'm like, well, where were you 3 hours ago when I got the double barrel shotgun?
So in each gun, that was a really cool thing. Is each gun has its own way the ammo going in, but then also its own way of working. Because like there's like at one point later in the game you can get a pump shotgun where you got this and you actually use both hands and you're pumping, shoot, pump, shoot. Like it's very difficult. I found it very difficult.
I mean, like once you get the rhythm down,
it was cool.
It's fine. It's fine. But like the first time you shoot it and you're like, why
what am I doing?
Shoot, okay. I didn't move far enough.
Yeah, I don't know. I was because that was like that later mission it was when I used it for the first time, and I died like 5 times, and that like those are actually the only time I died was towards the end of the game.
Me too.
Like where I died quite a bit actually towards the end of the game.
So is the only thing you do with your hands reload guns, or is it like other things you can do?
No,
along the
a
way?
lot of things.
So there's as you're going through, you'll find grenades stashed in place. You grab a grenade, you can pull the pin, throw it.
Nice.
There's also like different types of locks you need to get into. So there's one you can lockpick. Sometimes you have to use a screwdriver to take off a cover on an electric panel.
Sometimes you have to put place like a I don't know, it's like a little spark, and then you grab the lighter and you light it and everything.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's like a non-explosive that kind of just fries the circuit board or something.
And then there is the what's the word looking for? Break through the door, blow up the door.
Oh, the breach charges.
Breach. So
I didn't play the game.
Thank you, breach charge. That's just standard.
I've blown things up in video games.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. But it was cool though because like you place it on the door, you turn the pin to arm it, and then you pull it,
and you step back.
And then you step back.
This is fine.
Yeah. And speaking of explosions, that's a really cool thing too. So anytime you shoot anything that explodes, you go into this like this slow-mo. So like you'll see guys like start like as soon as you shoot, like let's say you shoot a fire hydrant, fire extinguisher, guy, like you'll see him like and then but then also too it slows down time, so there's other enemies during that time. Everyone else kind of stops, so that kind of gives you an advantage to kind of help.
So it encourages you to like try to do as much as possible to like create anarchy.
Yes, absolutely.
Nice.
And then throughout all the different levels, there are targets that you could shoot. That's like they're called marksman targets. After you get so many of those, you can unlock mods for your guns.
Okay.
Like a silencer, some like a sight,
laser,
a laser sight. You need like a ton of those for that one. I never got that one. I did find a gun with one on it though, which is nice.
Do you actually like? If you have a sight or a scope, I mean, is it actually like a thing we can like have?
It is so helpful. So if you have a sniper rifle, like at first I was like this with it, and I'm like, I'm holding it like this, and I'm like, okay, yeah, here's the retinal, but I'm like, wait a minute. Oh, I had that realization. What if I pull it closer to my eye, and I pulled the scope closer to my eye, and I was like, holy, like I found myself actually closing one eye.
The 3D was all wrong, but it was.
I never ended up using the sniper rifle because the first time I found it, like I was doing that, but like if I tried to adjust one way, it would go the complete other direction.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, all right, no, done.
Okay.
Give me my submachine guns back.
Yeah. The submachine guns are the best weapon, by far.
Did you guys ever try to do something that didn't work, like when you were like messing around or fiddling around, or?
There's there were quite a bit with the gun. Like some of the guns were just not good. Like to use, like there was a lot of times, like there was a mission. There's a mission later on where you're stuck with like 1 or 2 guns for a while, and this is where I kept the mission where I kept dying towards the end. And like all you have basically on you is a pistol, and then you either have this the sniper like type machine gun or the pump shotgun. And I was struggling with the pump shotgun quite a bit, and I think I'm like, okay, I keep dying. This is driving me nuts because I was having a hard time. Like it's like I would get it a couple times, but then eventually like I'm like, what's going on? Why am I doing it? And it looks like my character lost track, but I never let go. But it did let go like in the game. Like so I mean, as well as this game works, like tracking wise and stuff, there are plenty of hiccups in terms of that.
My biggest complaint is this game. So most of the time, you can go through and you can kind of move at your pace, and things, business will pick up for a few seconds where a couple of baddies run on the screen, you got to shoot them. But towards the end of the game, you start getting like kind of not waves like you would see in a normal FPS, but like you start getting waves of enemies, and you're trying to keep shooting and reload, and it really shows how poor PSVR is tracking in that type of scenario.
Yeah.
Because there was towards the end of the game, there's like a car chase mission, and I failed 3 or 4 times because the grab the clip button is the same as pull the trigger button.
Oh,
and I kept shooting the fucking driver.
Yep, me too. Me too. I did that 3 times in that mission. That drove me nuts. I'm like, no, I grabbed the jam ammo. Like that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Yeah.
So that like it was like towards the end of the game, it starts getting really fast paced and really like you just got to keep moving.
And that gets a little
the
hectic.
tracking.
It loses it a little bit.
Really fails there.
Yeah, and that's not. And I don't blame the game.
No, I
for
mean that's just the Move controller technology
because
of
the
PSVR.
rest of the game, I mean, I was pretty solid. The rest of the game until that part, when it starts getting really hectic, and there's a ton of enemies and stuff, and also, so when you're using 2 guns, you don't have to like put one away to reload the other gun. Right. You still have both in your hands. So you you go like this to grab the trigger, and then go like this really quick. But again, like you said, sometimes it doesn't grab the ammo. Sometimes it just shoots, and so it's like, what the hell?
When your right hand's empty and you're trying to grab with your left hand that has a submachine gun, and your driver's to your right because you're in friggin' England, your driver's dead.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. But that's a really cool thing. So for your pistols, you holster them at your hips. So you can always click and put them back on your hips, and then you put your hands down, click again to pick them back up. And then your other weapons, your shotguns, machine guns, whatever, are over your shoulder. So you actually reach over your shoulder, trigger, and then you have it.
Nice. And that was another area where the tracking screwed me because I can't tell you the number of times I just desk popped over my back trying to put a gun away.
Nice. So, I mean, is this like in the upper echelon of PSVR games?
Absolutely. I think it is, personally, because I mean, I think visually was great. I thought visually it was very well done.
It's so like going into the game, having done the Heisen, the PSVR world, having done that, my thought was like, okay, this is going to be like the game for PSVR. And if I'm looking at it like just as a game, not as like a VR experience, it didn't really live up to that for me. I thought the story was very predictable, like all the way across the board.
I thought it was told well though. Like I agree with you that it was predictable, but I thought they did a decent job with it though. Like it kept me interested. I wanted to keep going on. I wanted to keep moving along.
I mean, I wanted to get to the end of the game because I knew it was like a 5-hour-ish game.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, it's not like I didn't enjoy the gameplay because of the story, but the story was, I thought, very, very predictable.
Sure.
It's like Stick said, it's like you're in an action movie. Is basically what they're trying to do.
Because some of these scenes are like absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I thought oddly enough, I thought the most fun parts of the game are basically where you're in it turns into like an on-rail shooter mode.
Yes. My god.
Like you just keep moving and you're shooting at stuff as you're jumping through stuff and swinging off stuff, and
it's so epic. So there's times when it's automatically just running, and like you said, and then there's enemies everywhere, so you're just turning everywhere, shooting them and stuff, and then let's say you jump through a window or something, and then you get that slow mo again, and it's funny too because as I'm doing that, just naturally I'm an action star. I'm pumping my arms, and you see my arms going like this. I'm going to do it. And so in the game, you see my arms going like this. It's hilarious.
Nice.
I mean, and then there is the climbing mechanic.
Yeah.
Too sometimes, so you got to climb across pipes and up and
monkey
down
bars
and stuff like the monkey bars. And stuff. I fell a few times.
I didn't.
Oh my god! And when I fell,
I was gonna say how that
felt it because it was high up for some of them.
Yeah, and there's some parts where you either jump down from something or you'll slide down a rope. Those are the only times I really felt the motion sickness feeling. It wasn't even motion sickness. It was like a brief stomach,
a little vertical.
Yeah.
Like oh my god.
Like okay, that's a thing.
Yeah.
I guess I'd say I can. It's an upper echelon PSVR game, but I don't know what the bar is for an upper echelon PSVR game. It's definitely the best one I've played, granted, but my experience has been limited with PSVR.
Is it more than Astrobot?
That's hard to say because it's a lot different. The game style is really different. So
it's like ranking the best PlayStation 1 games of all time. Exactly, it's going to be weird stuff.
So that's what makes it really tough because because what Astrobot does things that does so well, that would never. So I can't see none of that would apply to a first person shooter type thing. But the things that this does really well, would it I always think it's so cool. Like I said, the first time I reloaded the shotgun and I flicked the wrist to reload it, I'm like, this is so cool. Just doing different stuff like that. There's one part in the game where you're kind of doing this slow walk, and in my mind I'm like, I'm fucking John Wick right now, like, because something like a huge thing just happened and everything, and I just imagine my character like just walking like this, and I'm like, I'm John Wick right now. Like this is like it made me excited. Like it made me really excited. Like I super enjoyed this game myself.
Nice.
Yeah, if you have a PSVR, I'd say you should probably check this one out.
Yes, absolutely. Especially if you've played the heist on the
yeah.
PlayStation
I mean,
VR
that's
world, you kind of have a good idea of what to expect. I mean, it does go a little bit more in depth than that.
Yeah, it's
obviously,
but it's still kind of big parts of the game are in a similar setting where you're sitting in a room and you're talking to someone, and then it cuts away to a mission or an action scene. Yeah, if you have a PSVR, I'd say definitely check it out. If you're unsure, wait for a price drop at some point because $40 is a
$40 is a little steep for a VR game.
It's a 5-hour game. It's
yeah.
I mean, if you're unsure, wait till it drops a little bit. Also, I mean, if you're unsure, you can find a way to check out PSVR Worlds because the London heist in there is almost identical gameplay, except in that you're stationary when you're shooting.
Yes.
In this, you move around. So
yeah. So basically, different. So while you're in the different levels, you'll see different arrows show up. You just look at the arrow and hit the move button, and you move to that spot. So that's how you move. So you don't free walk or anything like that. So it's more spot based. Like because but then another thing that was actually really cool is, and they really didn't introduce it until later in the game, is there was times when you can complete a mission, but there's 2 different paths you could take to complete the mission. Which I was like, oh, well, that's kind of neat. Because I mean, then it's like, okay, well, next time I play this mission, I'll go the other way to see how to accomplish it the other way. And so I thought that was kind of a neat little thing. It kind of gives you a little incentive to replay it. And like, there's a bunch of collectibles. Obviously, you find what you do is you just pick it up and a star appears, and so it's a collectible. And then in your home base. It'll appear. There's a part where there's like 2 shelves, and it'll appear on the shelves then, which is kind of neat. And one of the collectibles, it didn't trigger to me those little granite statues.
Yeah, they're all the PSVR Worlds things.
And didn't even. Until I looked at the trophies, and I'm like, oh, those are from PlayStation. I'm like, no wonder. I'm like, why is there a shark? Like, this seems kind of random and weird.
I think I had the shark and the cigar, and I was like, oh.
Yeah,
I get it.
yeah, shark, cigar, and then I got one other one, but that was it. Like, the collectibles are not easy to find either. So, I think that's the only thing. The good point too is like, there's actually pretty decent replay value I think here, because in a way, because again, you have the different paths. If you want to go all the marksman targets, because some of them you can find by just being stationary, looking around. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
And then there's other times when you see it as you're moving, but then once you get to your spot, it's
gone.
It's gone. You can't, unless you replay it, you can't get it back. So there's those, and then there's all the collectibles. I mean, and then there's reasons to replay. And then I'm curious if there's 2 endings.
No.
Okay. So it doesn't matter no matter what you did there.
The ultimate ending is the same.
Okay. Because the way it goes, there's like I could see potentially 2 endings.
When you reach the big bad guy at the end, like you can change how his portion plays out, but it all ends the same.
Okay, good to know. Because I was wondering about that, because I did it one way and I was like, oh, I wonder if I should have done something else. Yeah,
that's why I did it first too. So I did it and I'm like, he probably had more to say.
Yeah. But no, it's just, and then I think we're getting a sequel.
Yeah, definitely.
We're getting a sequel, which
a sequel or some kind of DLC.
Something. Yeah, I am so ready for it.
Because they basically, at the end of the game, is you're talking to a guy about how the mission's going to proceed.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And that would be awesome.
All right. So that is the PSVR exclusive Blood and Truth. And it is 53:43. Timestamps. So that's our show. That's what we got. So I didn't tell you guys this yet. So like I said, we're not doing the My Gift to You anymore. We're doing more like assignment stuff that we want to do and play. Like that was your guys' thing, because you both were playing it already. So let's actually do a review for it. I purchased the beta for Dreams.
Oh, okay.
And they had that, I think it's called Dream Surfing or Dream something. Like
yeah.
where you just like randomly go from thing to thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go through, do like an old school like live blog and just like keep track of a bunch of them I played like back to back to back to back to back and kind of come back and tell you what Dreams is like.
Cool.
'Cause I think so many people, like, it came out and some podcasts were like, "This is amazing."
Yeah.
Like,
And
Game
others were
Inform-
sitting there going, "What is Dreams?"
yeah. and I mean, Game Informer gave it like a 9.5 review. I don't know how the hell you review that thing. That's neither here nor there.
Right.
But I mean, I'm not going to get into the whole like.
Don't know why you're reviewing a beta.
Yeah. I'm not going to get into the actual like nuts and bolts of creating something. Like maybe I will in the future. But like
Sure.
I just want to like kind of just see. It's been out for a month or two at this point.
You want to answer the question, "What is Dreams?"
So I want us to see what they had like the month long alpha test, I guess, and then this is the beta
Yeah.
piece of it. So I
Okay.
want to see like what people have had 3 months to work on, like what that
Yeah.
stuff looks like and what you can do, and just how batshit crazy and sometimes terrible it's gonna be. Like I'm excited to go down that rabbit hole and kind of share with you guys. So
Nice.
that's gonna be the next assignment that we're gonna be bringing back to you guys in a couple weeks.
Did they add the VR support to that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's in there,
I haven't booted it up yet at all, so
Okay,
I have no
okay.
idea what is on there or
Okay, I
not.
was
But
just-
yeah,
I was
but
just
you
curious.
can
That's what I
create
thought. Yeah, right,
the
yeah.
move controllers and
Yeah.
everything. Oh yeah, for sure. All right,
Well,
so
let me know before we record next if you want to check that out. You can come here and check it out.
yeah, oh yeah, I'm still probably logged into yours. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I still got your account on my PS4. Yeah,
Perfect.
Just download it.
Very, very nice. All right, so that was episode 83, and we will see you next time, Stickheads.